It's about how we spend our money. So when there are millions of dollars being spent, billions of dollars being spent for tickets and endorsements and clothing and all that, then these guys should be paid, I guess, what they're worth. But I got to tell you, I think it's a weird kind of worship. So here's a test for idolatry. This is Snyder coming up with, I thought this was really good. He has the test of time and attention. When you can discover an idol by how much time and attention people give to it. How much time is spent on it. How much attention they give to this particular thing. The second one, the test, is the willingness to test and evaluate. You know, there is a lack of willingness to test and evaluate something because you're fearful of your idols falling off its pedestal, so you don't want to evaluate it. You don't want to look too closely to it. So there's this test of evaluation. And then also the test of public, I put SIGs, and it should be signs. Public signs of devotion. You know, this idea of how passionate people are. You know, when you see people paint their bodies and do all sorts of weird things, I mean, that's crazy, but people love sports. And they love celebrities. When people wait hours and hours and hours so that they can meet somebody. Interesting. How about the test of comparative devotion with other gods or loyalties? When you start seeing competing loyalties and attention and things like that, which one surfaces to the top? And then finally, the test of ethical effect. How does this affect a person, how they put their money towards it, or how they spend their time to the neglect of the more important things, the right things that they need to be doing? If you want to test something in your life, run through this little test for idolatry and see what you worship. What do you spend your time and attention on? What do you devote your time with? What do you protect and not want evaluated too closely? Money is in there. You mean under the 7th National? It was the test. Well, it's talking about money being part of. In other words, if you spend your time and your money on things, then that's, Well, okay. What's the fun way to do it? Take a look at your credit card statement at the end of the month, and take a look at your bank statement at the end of the month, and see where you spend most of your money. And ask yourself, is that where, being the accountant over here, she's pointing that out. That's kind of where your time and attention is spent, isn't it? Don't you love it hearing about a young couple who are just broke and starving to death? They really can't, and then they go to Acapulco, or they go to Red Lion or Red Lobster or something like that for lunch or dinner. Yep, they're broke all the time. Kathy, I go, are you really managing your money? So the concept here is, what's priority? What's important to you? What fits within the scheme of your life? What is most important? Okay, so that leads me to number 3, our jealous God. God understands that we are created to love Him. Whenever we deviate from that, there is a huge hole in our hearts. There is something missing. There is something that so what we do is we chase after all these other gods, trying to fill the void. But the reality is, when we deviate from that love, then we are headed for pain and destruction. Right? Okay, attention over here. Cute kids sitting down. Okay, over here. I saw all this section over here. Cecilia, another word for jealousy. Don't worry about it. I'm teasing you. Another word for jealousy here would be zealousness. God is zealous for you. We tend to think in the terms of jealousy like a person, is petty jealousy type thing. Oh, she has nicer stuff. I'm jealous. Well, that's no coveting. But, that idea of being jealous for somebody who has the better job or the better car or the better life or whatever it is. That's not what we're talking about. God is jealous or zealous in the sense that he doesn't like to share you with anybody. So, let's go back to our illustration of Sam and Margaret. Sam's girlfriend, Margaret, is cheating on him. She has other gods before her, other men, other dates. She is pursuing other things in her life that make him less important. So my question to you and I would be, in our lives, are there things that we pursue over our devotion for God? Because really, it really all goes back to, it's a relationship with God, is where all this boils down to. This is kind of like a litmus test for our spiritual life. Who's most important? Who do we focus on most? Now, I love my grandkids. They are the most precious things. But I still love God more. I love my wife. I can't imagine life without her. But I still love God more. And you know what's strange? She likes that. Because the more I love God, the more I love her. The better I love God, the better I am towards her. Isn't that fun? So it's a good thing. But God still wants me to put him first. God is zealous for us. There's a song we sing from time to time, and I think it drives you guys crazy, but I really like it. He is jealous for me, loves like a hurricane. I am a tree bending beneath the weight of his wind and mercy. All of a sudden, I am unaware of all this. Oh, afflictions that eclipse before me. And then I realize just how beautiful you are and how great your affections are for me. And then it's simply, oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. How he loves us so. And that's it's a profound statement. God is a jealous God, not like some petty human, but he is jealous for us because he knows that anytime we deviate from that, it destroys us, it hurts us. The list of the 10 Commandments is not the list of the 10 cosmic killjoy ideas. This is God loving us, saying, look, group, I love you. Love me, and I will fulfill your life. Love me. Don't have other things in front of me. Don't treat my name frivolously. I think I've told you this before, but back in Albany days, David and I used to go to this dairy mart, and it was a little convenience store like a Plaid Pantry or 7-Eleven. We'd go there about 3 o'clock to get Diet Cokes. And the reason why we go at 3 o'clock is because that's when all the kids got out of school. And right across the street was the middle school and the elementary school and the high school and all that. So there would just be this huge convergence of kids. We just loved kind of milling around inside all that. And there were some kids I had seen in the youth group or in the neighborhood who never attended our youth group, but I talked to them from time to time. And as I'm walking by this one kid, he just blurts out the GD phrase really loud. And I turned around to look at him and I said, do you often pray on street corners like this? What? I said, what if God damned everything you asked him to? What would be left? Nothing. I said, probably so. I said, you ought to think about what you say. That was my 30-second sermon. But I think it's so interesting how people misuse the name of God so flippantly. They don't even realize who they're talking about. This is the God who spoke the universe into being. This is the God who could turn them into dust in a nanosecond. This is the God who holds their very breath in his hands. And then they flippantly say, God, would you just damn this thing over here? I also think hypocrisy is one of the worst misuses of God's name. When we say we are Christian and we don't act like it, we misuse his name. Because you bear the name of Jesus. When you stand up and say, I am a Christian, and yet you turn around and you treat someone in a way that is ungodly and unkind and unloving, that is misusing the name of God. Okay, do not make any idols, forms of idolatry. Idols or great